This is the Cardinal Cowboy Show.
The Olympia events building. You're getting a tryout going on here at the Olympia events building here in St. Charles, Missouri. The St. Louis Bandits have their open tryout here. I'm sitting here with Coach Jeff Hunt, the head coach and owner of the St. Louis Bandits Pro Indoor Team. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing well. Glad to have you.
Well, it's exciting to have this excitement going on right here. You've got some stellar athletes. I'm getting to meet some of these guys as they come through. What are you most excited about?
Today finally got here. We're getting that out, but we're excited. We're going to do a lot of evaluation and see who will be coming to camp in February.
Well, tell me a little bit about some of the guys you've got here today. I've seen some big names, some guys who played some high-level ball, some guys played NFL, been on some NFL squads. Talk a little bit about who's coming out today.
Well, we have actually have Keenan Mace, that's from Lindenwood graduate. He's here waiting on Kendall to show up. And like I said,
Kendall Morris, right?
Yep. And we also have Drew Hare from NIE University. He's also on the roster. Chris Gillette, which is also from Missouri Up. He's on the roster as well.
We met Chris, big boy. These guys, these are some athletes.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So do you think these are the guys that are going to be able to put you in a position for, you've had some success. You've won some big games, played in some big championships.
Oh yeah.
You think you have lined up what it takes to do it again here?
Well, I tell you what, like I told you before, it's always good to start from home, start St. Louis, and there's a lot of talent here. But I feel real good about St. Louis, feel real good about the athletes that are actually coming in.
Well, we've got a great audience here today. We've got a large venue here that does facilitate some of the best athletes come through here. I know the ambush works out here.
Yeah.
The past football teams have worked out here too.
Right.
We've got multiple cameras going on us today, and it's just kind of exciting with what you see and having football back here in St. Louis again.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the Rams left a few years ago, right?
Right.
We miss them dearly. Some people not so much, but the Battlehawks have created some excitement. They're going to take a year off,
Right.
but if you're going to watch football in St. Louis this spring, it's going to be the St. Louis Bandits.
Right. I tell you what, with the Battlehawks coming back in 2022 in spring, I think this will be a year for the Bandits to really showcase and show the fans, hey, you know what? Not only the Battlehawks, now we got the Bandits. We got two football, you got indoor and outdoor, so it's going to be very exciting. Plus, we're going to score a lot of points.
As I say, talk a little bit about your history. You helped with the Rampage, a number of teams you've coached.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Rage.
Yeah.
Number of teams you've helped coach,
Yeah.
and took them to the top. Some games where you were scoring 75, 100 points a game.
Yeah.
And what was your role with the team at that time?
At the time, I was with the Rage. I was a defensive back coach at the time, and then also worked with a special team. We had a great coaching staff at the time. Mike Wyatt, Coach Dennis Evans, which is here now. Myself, we had Mark Wilson, which is out of the University of Kentucky. He's our defensive coordinator. We went back to back in St. Louis, and actually again we were 14-2, 14-3 the second year, so we were back to back division champions.
Turn that camera on him a little bit. The second one there, aim it towards him. There you go.
So other than that, I mean, winning is very important here in St. Louis, and I think the fans love that, and that's what really helped us out.
Well, we're excited to have this team here in St. Louis. I mean, especially when you have the kind of quality coaching, the quality organization. I just watched the way you've assembled this, and you're top notch, man. You've got some big sponsors, some big hitters, and a lot of key players, great coaches. When does everything get started? Tell everybody the schedule here.
Well, as of right now, I guess with the COVID going on, I know we got to sit and wait and pray that everything gets back to normal. But we're looking, projecting, we'll probably start training camp about the third week of February, and which will take us in about the third week of March, and then we'll run all the way to the end of June. Playoff will start, so a quick season. I mean, even if we have to push everything back, we'll push everything back, but we'll still be able to get our season in.
Well, it's exciting, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Coach Jeff Hunt, St. Louis Bandits Pro Indoor Football. Coming here to St. Louis. Have you nailed down? You're still working on the final details where you're going to be playing at?
Still negotiating right now. We got a couple of places that we're negotiating with. Just in talks right now. Nothing concrete right now.
Okay. But a couple of high-profile options. It's going to be one or the other.
Right.
Of a few, I think.
Well, we hope we can be out here in St. Charles, but like I said, I'll pull like this wherever God lands us, we'll play it.
You got it. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, some excitement coming here to St. Louis, the St. Charles area. We're up here at the Olympic Events venue here in St. Charles. You hear all the excitement going on behind us. They've got volleyball. They do all kinds of athletic events up here. Sports, basketball, soccer. And we're just excited to be here. Stay tuned as we continue to interview a number of the high-profile players, coaches, and contributors here to this exciting St. Louis Bandits football team. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Giddy up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, so excited. We're going to take that camera. We do want that camera. I realized I tuned it for our guest over here, and then I sat there because that's who I've been tuning the camera as sitting there. But anyway, we're going to check mic number 2. Check, check. And as you can see, we will, like I said, get that shot back on this with that camera. Yeah, so it is there, so we're good. And then. But as we continue here, we might grab some of our festive fans in the building here, some of the other supporters. I see Gary B is in the house. I don't know if Gary's allowed to come over. Come on over here, Gary. Yeah, come on over. Got your mask on.
Privilege, Cardinal Cowboy.
Gary B, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm privileged to be here with you, Cardinal Cowboy.
Well, it's a privilege that you've connected me with a lot of great organizations, and we're doing a lot here to help promote the St. Louis Bandits. And tell us a little bit why you're excited for what they've got going on.
Well, a little bit of a background. We've known each other for a long time, and I've been broadcasting indoor football at the family arena with all the indoor football teams over the past 21 years. And I'm only 18 years old.
You're only 18, so you started very, very young.
Very young, very young. My mom kept saying, shut up, and no. But the point is that there's been a lot of great athletes that have come through St. Louis in the Indoor Football League. And as you come about, naturally, you remember indoor football, how exciting it was when you used to watch it on TV a lot. Kurt Warner naturally comes to everybody's mind in particular. But the thing we had in the St. Louis area, we had a bunch of guys that were very, very hungry, and they wanted to be found, let's say, in order to move up the ladder to go to the NFL.
Right.
And that's why they're here naturally. There were scouts. I remember every year we would broadcast the games. There would be scouts in the stands that were interested in going to the games to see the talent that was out there, and there were plenty of players out there to choose from. And it just seems like Cowboy, every week there was a new guy that just stood out.
Well, you're right. It's so much talent. A lot of people don't realize until they analyze the roster a little bit. A lot of these guys come from St. Louis, and they've got a few key players that are on this roster already that have played high level, if not NFL football, and are playing on this Bandits football team right now.
Yeah, I go to your website all the time, and I see some of the names. There's 4 or 5 names that were on the particular list here today. From Lindenwood, from St. Charles County, a couple of the schools out here. So they're local guys, and I think that's what a lot of people like. When they go to the games, they recognize the players. Not that it isn't good to watch players from the NFL. Those are always good, but when it's a local guy that, hey, I know, I went to school there too, or I played football with that guy. Holy cow, look at him today.
Right, everybody likes the hometown hero, if you will. And, when you've got that kind of talent, you can't put guys on your team just because they happen to be from that town. They've got to have the skills. And, talk about names like Kendall Morris, who was on the show the other night. Talk about skills. I mean, playing with the Chiefs, as exciting as it gets last year with the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously they just won a Super Bowl. And, wow, so just being part of that excitement, having him here on this team is going to add just another level that I think a lot of people, they're looking forward to.
Well, a lot of people may not remember Coach Hunt, but he has been in the St. Louis area quite often over the past years. And bottom line is that he has put in a lot of time and he's brought a lot of talent to the organization here just because of his success over the past decade or so in the Arena Football League, the AFL2. And with those successes, people have followed him. Some of these players, star players, have told other players that, wow, you need to go play for this coach. And that's what coach is putting together, trying to have this inaugural season here with this league this year, different league this year. As everybody knows, the AAL, been around for a few years, about 14 teams. Could be up to 20 teams, Cowboy,
right,
before we hopefully start in the March time frame.
And from a number of dynamite locations across the country. I mean, you talk about 20 teams. They're not all within 30-minute drive of St. Louis. Playing minor league football, as I did for many years, we traveled a bit, and sometimes it was to the other side of St. Louis. Sometimes it was to Springfield, Illinois. But we're talking about, Miami or Florida and Houston, and just a long, wide range of travel that they'll be allowed to bring some talent in from all over the place to see, a great experience from all over the country.
And that is good. I think Tampa Bay was going to be one of the first teams that were going to be playing here, because they were trying to have, they say, oh, here, Coach, you go down to Tampa Bay for your first game. And Coach says, no, I want them to come to St. Louis. So we'll see what happens, what's going to play out with the way things are nowadays, and see how it'll play out as far as the travel goes. But in some cases, you're going to have to get on an airplane. And I know with you guys, usually with the teams you played on, you were on all those big bus cruisers, weren't you?
Yeah, it was the Vandalia, those what do they call those? But I got to know some of the drivers of the buses. I mean, I'm the kicker, so I wasn't necessarily considered an athlete, but
sure you were.
I did have 8 career tackles, so things have gone wrong if the kicker is making a tackle. But with that in mind, you get to just, as you're sitting on a bus for 8 or 10 hours, sometimes going to Oklahoma City or Houston or more. Yeah, you get to know. And they travel nice, man. They've got the TV screens. They lay back. It's not a bad little ride that you get to enjoy. You get to know the players a little bit too. Some of the guys you're in the trenches with, and that's where you build some of the camaraderie. And I think the Bandits have got a good chance to put something special together here.
And that's what's good. Speaking about putting things together, Cowboy, is that Coach is that kind of a guy where he gets that camaraderie with all of his players. He makes sure that they know one another, not just, hey, I'm Joe, I'm Steve, but they know each other's lives so that they have a sense of feeling with all the players. And Coach is surrounding himself with not only some good players, but some good coaches too that are really going to help him.
Yeah, it was interesting. I walked in the door, and a lot of the coaches apparently had seen me around town or remembered me, and they said, Cowboy, how are you doing? You remember? And I'm going, oh, wow, I didn't recognize. And when you see the names of some of the guys, you look at the background of some of these coaches, they've had some real success, especially when you talk about what Coach Jeff Hunt has put together and the multiple championships that he's brought his teams to. And you look at all of what they've organized here, it looks like it's going to be a really exciting team. When you got 14,000 people playing in front of Coach Hunt when he was coaching some of those, helping coach some of those teams and some of the championship teams where he was the head football coach, and to have that all here in St. Louis, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I don't think people really realize when you talk about the AFL, the Arena Football League, how big it was. It was TV oriented, so therefore there's monies coming in from the television networks, and that brought in, as you just mentioned, Cowboy, 14,000 people in the stands. You really kind of push them out of the way when you're coaching. I'm sure coach is concentrating and focusing on the game. But the thing is that you have a lot of excitement that gets the players going too, that are in the stands with all these fans in the stands. They get that excitement and it gets that momentum going and that adrenaline going with this team. And that's what Coach surrounds himself with. People found out he was coaching here in St. Louis, and he had mentioned he is getting phone calls saying, hey, I want to come and play with you, play on your team, Coach, the St. Louis Bandits in St. Louis in our inaugural year in 2021.
Yeah, look out. It's coming fast. We're finishing up 2020. Talk about a year that a lot of people were looking forward to being over. We're finishing up here about halfway through November, and then you've got 1 month left for the rest of the year. And then you're talking about preseason and a little training, and then bam, we've got football starting up.
You're going to have football starting, and we're here this evening, as you mentioned. There's going to be some athletes here well, first of all, there's going to be athletes here that are on the team that have some credentials, as you mentioned earlier when you were speaking to Coach Hunt, that have some credentials that are incredible. But then there's going to be some guys that you're going to find out, where did this guy come from? how come he hasn't been playing ball in the past? Just like, you know, when you're in Iowa, you found a guy who was putting jars and cans on the shelf in a grocery store. And then all of a sudden he became a Super Bowl hero, MVP, going to be in the Hall of Fame. But the point is you just never know where that diamond in the rough is.
Absolutely true. And you look at some of the talent. And I'm watching these guys walk in the building, and they all tower over the kicker, which is I had a different role, so it wasn't as important. But you're looking at some of the size. We helped it to set up the pooling for all the players. When you sign up, we said, let's make that a digital form. I help with the internet marketing side of the world. That's what I've done for a long time. And I saw some of the submissions coming in. I'm like, wow, this guy's 330, 6'5", 270, 6'2", and some guys that you could tell because they would even put in there what history do they have, what teams have they played for, and I'm going, wow, these guys have played some exciting ball at high levels. And when you start to add it all up, how many times have we heard there's a new team in town, right? St. Louis has got another indoor football team, and they've had some success, but they've had a few teams that kind of didn't do as much. And so people begin to question that a little bit. But when you look at the roster they've put together here, along with the coaching staff, I think it's a no-brainer.
I agree 100% with that. With this new team in town, as I mentioned earlier, being involved with the indoor football league for the past 20 years here in the St. Louis area, teams have come and gone, players have come and gone, but some of the coaches have hung around to the point where they have learned so much when they talk about where they can go in this league. And now when you say, hey, Gary B., there's another new football team in town. Did you know this? And I go, yes, I do. And then they go, now what's this one going to be about? I go, I think this one is going to be completely different than the others over the past decade that we've seen, simply because of the talent, A, that Coach Hunt has found out there, and B, what he has done in the past. People are following him, and I think you agree with that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's just a matter of how well organized is somebody, how well are they connected with the resources they need. You can see, I talk to Coach all the time, I know you do too, that look at some of the sponsors they're putting together. I know a lot of these they can't name publicly yet, but you hear the communications going on. It's like, wow, this isn't like Bob's hardware store at the little local location. These are big national companies, and nothing wrong with Bob's hardware store.
No, I like it. I go there quite often.
Bob is a great hardware guy, but doesn't quite have the pocketbook that some of these big sponsors they're talking to have. And when you add it all up and you put together the roster, everything, it's just looking dynamite.
It is. And you're right. There are some people, some corporations out there that hear it and they say, oh, another football team. But then Coach starts speaking with them, and then they go, wow, this is a little different than what has been happening over the past 11, 12 years in the St. Louis area. So really looking forward to that.
Well, we're excited to have you part of the team here, helping us and helping me and helping get me involved in everything that you've done to make this exciting. And you've been an integral part for a lot of sports in St. Louis, but in particular football, and coming out of the arena, family arena, and the excitement they've got here. So keep up the good work. Keep the good connections you've got going, because we need that kind of stuff in our community. It does really keep us united.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you putting all this together on the internet, the live streaming here, so that people can hear more about it. Because where else are they going to go beside the Cardinal Cowboy channel to find out all the latest happening things?
Well, and that is well said. I appreciate that. And we might mention it as a matter of people, when you analyze this, we brought up our slide the other day. We don't have our screen. I do have a portable screen. We started to transport that. It got to where now we're breaking more TVs than we're getting. So if somebody does want to throw up a little more money, then we might take the risk, or we'll rent a truck to transfer it. But when we can put some graphics up, and maybe we could share some of this. But just to talk about the basics, the expansion we've got here, we rank with the Cardinal Cowboys show up there among the top news personalities in St. Louis, number 3 right now, and number 2 in overall engagement. And so if that's important to you and your business or your company, and you have something you'd like to share in the community, we engage more than just about any. Only one person we saw had higher engagement with regard to the thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that we reach out to. And we're here to help the community do that, to engage, to share with people what's going on, because a lot of people are familiar with Gary V. He's not nearly as well known as you, Gary B., but this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and one of the best known internet marketing guys in the world. He and I are about the same age. He's in his late 20s also, I think, or thereabouts. maybe a little bit higher than that. But Gary Vee is now world famous, and he talks about this little device. As you guys see when I'm looking down at my phone, it's because I'm sharing out to the audiences and the people and the crowds that we have. But you can really control an audience, get in front of an audience that will blow away anything. I can tell you stats specifically. We have our Cowboy Judge show, and I know the numbers for the amount of viewers that we get. And it'll be in the dozens of thousands, you know, which for a local show, which is actually pretty good. But if you look at what we get online, it can dwarf that when you talk about hundreds of thousands of people. And really, everybody has the same resources. So if you need help with that, you have a good cause, something you believe in, get a hold of me here, the Cardinal Cowboy, and we'll share with you and the community what you got going on and make a point out of what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's something, too, that we're naturally here this evening at the tryout for the St. Louis Bandits indoor football team. And bottom line is that is your big venue tonight. But if you go to the Cardinal Cowboy show, you're going to see a lot of variety in there. I mean, you talk to everybody out there. So individuals, if they're interested out there in being part of the Cardinal Cowboy show, bottom line is that it doesn't matter what your product line is. It doesn't matter what service you have. You can take it and amplify it to the point where it really gives them that extra excitement that they haven't had before, I'm sure.
You named it. That's what it is. And the bottom line is a matter of mass communication. It was one of the classes I took in college. And it's funny, I've been talking to our assistant over here, Aiden, who just does an incredible job. And it's amazing to have somebody so talented and just understands technology and put things together quickly. Because I've got a lot we've got to cover, a lot that we've got to administer. And he's putting it together. And we talk about the key element. If you're going to be successful, if you're going to have an organization, a foundation, a business, or a group that's going to succeed, communication is the absolute key. You've got to get the word out. So keep on hitting us up here. Let us know what excitement you've got. Cheer on our St. Louis Bandits pro football team here because, you know, communities need organizations like this because you've got your NFL, you've got your MLB, you've got your NHL, NBA, and they don't play all the time, right? They're not out there every minute. And there's a better connection often is made with the local teams, the Ambushes, the Bandits, and now we've got a new pro soccer team coming to town, which is the St. Louis Soccer Club, I guess is what they're going to call it. And all of that is good. But you can really integrate more closely with your community when you have a local team that's grassroots coming up from the people in that community. And that's what we've really got going on.
And that's exactly what you need is that, okay, you have the MLB in St. Louis, which that's all we really have in the big leagues, let's call it. But the thing is the St. Louis Bandits are going to be playing in a location, and it's going to be affordable. I think that's a big thing. People nowadays, they have 4 people in the family. Where can I go to I don't have to spend $500, $600, $700. We can go, not that the St. Louis Bandits aren't worth it, but the point is that this price structure that they have available in this indoor football league, it doesn't need to be that high in order to bring the people in. You're going to bring them in. Bottom line is it's going to be affordable. And what's that going to mean to a dad that's saying, wow, I got 4 kids, or a single parent that says, I have these kids. And the thing is, they're going to go, I'm going to go again because it really didn't cost me that much. And we had a good time because Coach Hunt and his coaching staff is going to be putting some product on the field that's going to be very, very good quality and very entertaining out there.
Well, that's another great point as we continue to discuss the excitement that's going on. But there is a lot of opportunity to catch an event. And I love my Cardinals, there's no doubt. But the tickets there are not as cheap as you can find when you go to a program like you see with the Bandits or the Ambush and the related teams. And I want to ask Aiden, we were working, Aiden, on the PSL. Has that been put up? Is there a page yet for that, or is that still something we're under work? There will be a page. We discussed this in our meeting yesterday with Coach, and they're going to offer PSLs, personal seat license, right? Do this like the big boys do. I mean, it's the same platform. It just isn't going to cost as much. And so I believe the link I'll give you right now, I'll just read it out to everybody, will be banditsinfo.com and then banditsinfo.com/PSL. So look for that link as you proceed here, and that'll give you direct access, early access, to where you can get an incredible deal, first dibs on awesome seats right here in our exciting St. Louis city to watch some exciting football.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that the seating arrangement in whatever arena that the coach picks is going to be great, because you can sit in the front row if you want, and you got to be careful because a lot of times a football will come in, and you can keep that football sometimes depending on the situation.
Right.
But if a player comes into the stands, you can't keep the player.
You can't keep the
throw him
player.
back.
The players will be. They'll probably give you a high five on the way back, maybe an autograph, but they want to get back. But that does happen. It's because the style and just the format for indoor football. Yeah, as the kicker, I got to watch a lot, right? And then I would run out, kick my extra point, kick my field goal, kick off, whatever it was, and get back right over there. But when you're in the stadium, your seats are as close as the players because you're right up to those boundaries, right? The wall, we called it, as I played a lot of indoor soccer. But yeah, you're right up against the boards, looking through the glass. And sometimes when you're on the part of the section where there's no glass, you can literally, your hand can be hanging out over the turf, and you get a real live experience.
Well, depending on what kind of perspective that you want, you can be right there in the middle of all the action, or you can be higher up and be able to see the entire field. So depending on the kind of view that you want to have for indoor football, if you're not familiar with it, there's a lot of action going on. It's a 50-yard field that a lot of people may not be familiar with, but bottom line is that there is action going on all the time, and it's very fast. It's very hard to go to the concession stand, even to go to the restroom, to miss 2 or 3 minutes, because there is so much action that's happening out there. And being a broadcaster, it's just fun. You never stop. You can't stop talking because something is happening over here, and you don't realize this is happening, or they're in a shotgun formation, they're in a wildcat formation. You really have to pay attention close, because Coach Hunt and his other coaches that are in the seats there that are saying, "Hey, I'm head coach," they have to call that play 3 or 4 times ahead. And the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, they're all working together. And that's Coach Hunt's job, is to pull them all together, and he does a fantastic job doing that.
It is exciting. And as I recall playing, when I played pro indoor, obviously minor league outdoor, you can hear every word being said. There was a few times when things didn't go our way, and I could hear exactly what the audience thought of it. But that's part of the excitement. That's part of what you get. And you kind of have to let that drain out. We had a show recently on the Cowboy Judge where we talked about the difference with COVID and pro sports and not having an audience. Well, they are going to have an audience, it sounds like. We know that there's ups and downs with regard to the cases, totals, et cetera. But as the facility that we've been talking to most recently, they still do have essentially half capacity to give people spacing. But with that, you're going to be involved with a live game, and you'll be able to see real sports back and live here in St. Louis. If we can just keep on the path that we've been going. I think the community's got that kind of under control. Our hospitals and medical experts. Talk about that a little, Gary. What your thoughts are?
Yeah, time will tell. Nobody knows the answers right now. But the thing is that even if you only have a third of the people in the stands, that's enough electricity that can get players going. And really, like what we're talking about with the time situation, nobody knows at this point, but you got to speculate. You got to plan ahead. You got to have everything in place so that when March gets here or April gets here, or whatever the time frame is, you're ready to go. You've got everything booked. You got everything laid out. And so you got, okay, rather than trying to decide then, you decide early, you make a plan, maybe get A, B, or C plan, and then you pick whatever plan that is available at the time. But these arenas, as you mentioned, Cardinal Cowboy, that they're set up in a way that they're going to have availability of having 10%, 20%, 30%, 50%. Who knows at this point? But that, and with this COVID thing, the players, they all need to be safe. Just like right now, there are teams that have to stop playing because they have several people on the staff that have it. So, but Coach is very good about that. Just like this tryout tonight, everybody is getting their temperature taken. And the thing is Coach is ahead of the game. He's making sure everybody stays safe as they come in here to the arena.
Well, we're excited. It looks like we've got a line of coaches going to be coming down here. We might want to grab a couple of those guys. I don't know, Gary, if you can either continue to chat to our audience if you like. I'll give you that option. And I'll go grab Coach. We might have Aiden go grab him. or talk to the next. I know they were going to send us, but they're in the middle of the starting. They are live right here behind us, about 200 yards away. The official open tryouts have started, and the coaches are down there keeping everybody excited, drilling guys, figuring out who's got the skills, and it's going to be quite an event we got here.
Well, again, it's 2-hour tryout. Okay, so the thing is that you got to put all your stuff in a 2-hour time frame. When it's your turn to get up there to run the ball, to kick the ball, that's the time you're going to have to shine, and you have to be perfect, because you only get, what do they say, one time to make a first impression. So the thing is, and you've been on the field before. I broadcast when you were kicking footballs and everything, kicking extra points and field goals. But bottom line is that you got to focus and concentrate, and that's what these guys are here right now. They're trying to not say, "Oh, I'm going to make it to the NFL this year." No, it's a stepping stone. You don't just come out of high school, come out of college, and then jump right to the NFL. It's a stepping stone. You got to prove yourself. You got to be found. You got to be seen. And Coach has several of his coaching staff that are here today that are basically looking and engaging in each of these players that are out there to say, okay, this is our next step. We want to make sure that this is a player that is going to fit into our team, not just athletically, Cowboy, but also as far as getting the camaraderie together. You used that word earlier, camaraderie, as far as being players liking other players. And
that was a big word. I used that? Okay.
You did. And I was very surprised, after 7 o'clock at night. But the thing is that you have that situation that these players can go out there, and as long as they gel together, that's very, very important, having a team. And that's what team is together. Everybody achieves
together,
more. I know, very good.
Everybody achieves.
Very good, more.
Money, yeah.
Right. But the thing is that you get these players out there, and again, physically, yes, they're good, but mentally, they also have to be that way. They got to get along with their fellow players, and Coach is very astute in that, and he can pick that out, right off the bat.
Well, exactly, and so we're excited here. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna grab some of the coaches. Coach, things are always adapt and changing, so I know that they are in it to win it, and as they can be peeled off, we might pull them over here. We did talk about, and maybe Gary, you can help us a little bit because you look like a pretty strong young man. We're gonna do a mobile migration live. And because we have our laptop here that we stream with, and this is a fairly powerful laptop that you have to have. The key to this is having 8 gigs, not of RAM, if people talk about computer techie stuff, 8 gigs of video. So we've got a laptop that can do that. And because it is a laptop, the power supply is built into it. So I already planned this out with Aiden. We're going to move down to where the actual action is going on right now, live streaming all the way. Would you make a couple live switches from the switcher we've got here that has multiple cameras to a different switcher that'll allow us one camera, and it'll all be going steady the whole time. But you can switch out hardware live these days thanks to our new USB technology, which has been around for a little bit. I'm a computer nerd. That was the backup plan in case the professional baseball career or football career or soccer career didn't work out. And none of the 3 of those actually came through to a sustaining level, but gave me a lot of insight towards life and create some of the excitement. And St. Louis is a big sports city.
It is, but when you talk about social media, you are the #1 person. I think if you go on the internet and look at the different live streams that are out there, been around for a while. And
I did start when I was very young.
You did. But the point is that you excelled in it. You had a few problems here and there, but the thing is, you learned from the mistakes and you've capitalized on it.
Lots of mistakes.
Like you said, you're #2 out there in the marketplace.
Yep.
So anybody who's out there in the marketplace looking to do some social media to get their particular program, their product, their service out there to the public, touch base with Cardinal Cowboy.
Get a hold of me. We'll help you do what you do. It's what I do for a living now, and this is a caveat of that. We've also got our drone here tonight, and so we might be doing some live footage. This is a very big facility. We won't be able to use the GPS because it does have a roof. From what I understand, the GPS only works, but that's all right. We're just going to take it 10 or 15 feet off the ground. Some cool shots you can get with that when you're watching football. You can get over the guys a little bit, shoot down, see that ball flying a little bit. Hopefully they don't take out the drone. These drones these days do not cost as much as they used to. when you were talking thousands of dollars, but we've got a mini $100 drone, and it does a great job. And it does 4K. We just recently upgraded to it. It's the Mavic. I'm sorry, the DJI, and they used to call it Mavic. They dropped Mavic. Now it's the DJI Mini 2. And just if you guys want to see a little bit about how that device works and how it streams, and we've figured out how to stream it. We might get to that point here. We're going to continue this stream live. We can stream up to 4 hours without interruption. I know a lot of you probably are hoping that it will end sooner than that, but we will continue to give the excitement we've got here and hopefully entertain our crowd here and give some more insight towards this sport we love and what we can bring to St. Louis.
Let's go see some action.
All right, thanks, Coach. Or Gary, and let's go see the coach. Giddy up. Oh, you want to come to this? Gillette, you got a slide. And that camera's on. Now you can take your mask down for this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about some of the stellar coaches and athletes that we were going to have on the show here. Today, right now, we've got defensive lineman Chris Gillette. You played at Missouri Western, is that right? Yes, sir. And if you would hold the mic up so everybody can hear you. Talk a little bit about why you're excited, why you're here.
I'm excited. Been looking for an opportunity
to. Real close.
Been looking for an opportunity to play at a higher level. Played a couple of years as semi-pro out of college, and been looking for this. So I'm excited.
Tell us a little about your background with regard to football. Missouri Western, good program. Is that where Zerline came out of?
Yes, sir.
And so there is at least one pro athlete we know playing in the NFL right now. If anybody has followed the path, Mr. Zerline, he was the guy that essentially kept me from getting into the NFL. I will casually toss it out with semi-humor, but I was, in theory, kind of backing up Greg. That's Greg Zerline. But I was at a time who was their kicker before that? They called him Money. I'm drawing a blank here if Aiden can help me out. But it was our kicker for the Rams forever. They said, "You realize we've got a great kicker?" I said, "That's cool, but we want to give you a tryout." And I was kind of excited by that. And then I saw Greg Zerline come in, and I was like, "Okay, I can probably retire at this point." But Greg the Leg, Missouri Western, did you play with him?
I did for a year.
For a year.
Yeah.
And what was it like being I think our audience might find that kind of exciting. What was it like having a guy out there? Was he kicking 50, 55, 60 yarders?
Yes, he was doing that the whole time there. So 50, 60, 70 yarders.
He would kick a 70 yarder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about it, because Missouri Western has had do you know how many players have come out of Missouri Western that have made it to the NFL?
I think about 5.
5 or so?
Yeah.
And a lot of smaller schools, Missouri Western, how many kids go there?
About 14,000.
Okay, about 14,000. So it's not a real small school, but it's not your Division I big powerhouse school. But we talked about this when we had Kendall Morris on the other night. It's interesting. It's just, why do some players get overlooked to go to that Division I school and then beat the heck out of those guys who made it who didn't make it out of the Division I level into the pro level? And somebody like yourself looking to do that, and a guy like Greg Zerline, who, was there no doubt when you first saw him come out, and it was just like, who the hell is this guy? Scouts are coming around. Tell us a little bit about what happened there.
You pretty much knew he was going to the league and that he was going to do great. I mean, the guy has a leg out of this world. It's kind of unordinary to be able to kick 70 yarders. So it was a nice experience watching him up close and personal, and he's carved out a great career so far. So
yeah, and so recently his contract was up with the Los Angeles Rams, Missouri team, and maybe that's kind of proxy to the where the Rams used to be located out of St. Louis, and so he got noticed there, whereas being at a smaller school, didn't necessarily get the notice, but made it. But now he's kicking for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, he is.
And another fairly well-known team in the league, right? If I say if you're playing for USA's team, that's
America's team. Yeah.
that's the America's team. That's the Cowboys. Okay, so now you've talked about the excitement and the level of ball and I argue with people a little bit. I would argue that a lot of your Division II NAIA teams that are in the top 10, top 20 could put a pretty hard hit, can keep up very nicely with a lot of your Division I teams. May not be able to beat your Division I top 25, but they beat some of the teams that are in the lower 20, and they rank the teams up to about 100 or so, I believe. And did you guys have the opportunity to play some big-name schools when you played there?
No, not that I know of. We didn't get to play any of like Division I teams.
Yeah. But did you see some of the players that would also go to those teams? And I guess there's a little bit of movement, a lot of people notice, from Division I. They say, oh, I'm not getting a start here. I'm going to go to Division II or NAIA. Get more playing time. Did you see any of that kind of going on with your team at all?
A little bit. Some guys, I guess, will leave. Sometimes leave Division I, go to a JUCO, and then come to Division II after that. So,
well, and that's where it kind of like, what is the difference? And sometimes it has a little bit to do with the grades weren't kept as high as they needed to be, they argue. I had that issue a little bit myself in college when I went to college and decided I would not focus as much as I had been in my past. And hey, that doesn't mean that the athlete doesn't have the ability. It just means that they also want a well-rounded athlete. And so they're going to say, hey, you got to go somewhere else and get it together. And some of these kids then come straight out of that NAIA. Missouri Western, what is their conference in? Are they NAIA or are they?
NAIA.
NAIA, okay. And like I said, the talent you get there is still unbelievable.
No, it might be MIAA.
Okay, NCAA AA. We'd have to look that up.
Yeah,
and not that it's a big difference, because the point is, your top tier guys, and there's a lot of people argue, you've got to have the talent, you've got to have the skill. But you can't fill a roster of 45 guys with the number one guys across the country, right? You're going to have some guys that, and so then we argue, what is the difference, maybe you can speak to this, between the guy that got the full ride and the guy who walked on? And does it come down to work ethic? Does it come down to dedication? Or is it just ability is the only thing that matters?
I would say it comes down to effort. I mean, anybody can play the sport. It just you can be any size, any height. It's just all about your effort. And the guys usually that don't get a scholarship are a little bit more hungry.
That's true. So. Well, talk a little bit about your background. So you went to Missouri Western. How many years did you play there?
I left early after my first year.
After your first year?
Yeah.
And so now you're back in St. Louis playing some semi-pro ball?
Well, actually, I grew up here in St. Charles, Missouri, played at St. Charles High, so this is my hometown right here.
Okay, this is your hometown. Yeah. And did you play semi-pro football also? Who did you play for?
I played for the Hannibal Falcons.
Okay.
Yeah, Hannibal, Missouri.
Hannibal, yeah. And a lot of people don't realize there is an entire organization of what they call minor league football. Some people refer to it as semi-pro. And there are tons of athletes that came from the NFL. I played with a number of guys that literally they were in the NFL. They played for a short period of time. They played for a longer period of time. And then they went right into semi-pro. So don't think that semi-pro also, again, it gets down to, I think, a matter of the raw determination some of these guys have to get back. Talk about some of the guys you played with on the semi-pro level.
I mean, I really don't have nothing much to say other than they don't treat it professionally, so it's kind of a joke, honestly. So
is it okay?
Yeah.
And I know some of the teams are just not as well organized because it's getting spread out. And you've got, I remember I played in the NAFL, and we had 60 teams. And when you got guys that, like, it's a part-time gig, they've got a full-time job, to them to get out there to make all the practices, for them to make every commitment to all the study that's necessary, it's tough. And but every once in a while you do see a diamond in the rough, if you will, and come through there. Is that what you think you might be the shot at here?
Man, I don't want to brag and boast, but I do believe I am. So.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, some talent right here. Played at Missouri Western. We appreciate your time on the show tonight and wish you some good luck here with the St. Louis Bandits. All right, everybody. Stay tuned. I appreciate you. We're going to have some more live streaming. We're going to continue our live stream right here from the Olympia Athletics and Events in St. Charles, Missouri. Yeah, can you want to grab a coach? Or they can tell me if you come back, ask them if they would like me to move down there. I can move down there. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when you've got guys that have played at multiple levels and they've had success and some challenges, but they're still out here trying to make it happen. And that's what this minor league, that's what this semi-pro, and this is a higher level. This is the indoor professional. Gives these guys the opportunity to partake and get a shot and get a look. A lot of people don't realize that behind the scenes, there are guys changing on the roster off and on all the time. It's not always due to an injury. Many times it's a bad performance or it's a different matchup. And they will look for another guy. They will bring a guy off the practice squad who recently was playing indoor ball, who was playing semi-pro ball. I was on a team a number of times with guys who got NFL tryouts, including myself, because they got their look out there playing the semi-pro baseball or football. I played some semi-pro baseball too, but it literally is, you just got to put yourself in front of the right audience. The opportunity I happen to have had was because the referee happened to be the same ref 2 weeks in a row, and refed us the first game when I kicked a 51-yarder, asked me at that next game as I stood on the sidelines, which the kicker does most of the time, what I was doing. and if I was interested, and first he asked me if I was that kicker that kicked the 51-yarder the week before, because he knew we were the same team. And when I informed him, obviously it was me, he said, would you like a tryout with the St. Louis Rams? And I jumped all over it. And it was really exciting. Bobby April, the special teams coach at the time, gave me the call. And, man, it was Jeff Wilkins, as I couldn't remember earlier. He says, you realize we have Jeff Wilkins here. But there's a lot of players, and kicking is kind of a niche component. But there's a lot of players. You've got multiple defensive backs, multiple receivers, multiple running backs, backup quarterbacks. And when it comes down to it, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys come to mind this year because they were on their fourth quarterback. Dak out for the season. Terrible injury early on for the Dallas Cowboys. Since then, they've gone to a second, a third, and now have their fourth quarterback. I believe that was Gilbert. And he's actually the son of another former. His dad played at high level in the NFL and had a couple historic. If anybody remembers the excitement when the band, this was a college game, but I forget the two teams that were playing. I think it might have been Boston College, but the team that thought they had won, their band started to run out on the field. The game was not over, and the last play of the game, reception ran into the end zone, running over the band members to win the game for the opposing team. His dad was the quarterback, and it's just kind of interesting how tight of a circuit, how small, but yet how many names coming in and out from places you didn't expect. But it's because guys stick with it. Guys take the opportunity to continue even though they're not in the league at the moment, even though they got cut by the Panthers this week, and now they're going to be down with a tryout with the Dolphins. And that happens all the time, and a lot of people don't realize it because you're used to seeing your stars and the guys who get all the limelight and the people that have all the attention, and you pay attention to those guys. But your roster has, depending on what time of year, 45 to 60 guys, and not all 60 guys are the same 60 guys, obviously, that have started this season, that finished the season. So we're looking for some excitement here with the St. Louis Bandits. Put some of these guys out there, give them a shot. I understand the coach here, Coach Hunt, has upwards of 15, 16, maybe even 17 guys who've played in the NFL and are going to be playing for him here for the St. Louis Bandits. I think we've got our next guest. We're going to grab another one of the coaches here. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you the microphone. Hold this up real tight so everybody can hear you. Got a big audience here. Thank you, Gary. Keep everybody excited over there. But we want to welcome Coach Edmonds, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I walked in the building. You gave me a warm welcome. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, you're excited to be part of the squad?
I am very excited to be back in St. Louis, coach arena football again.
Well, I understand you've coached quite a bit.
Yes,
A little
sir.
bit of Green Bay.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
down was there some in Texas? I understood.
Yeah, down in Laredo, Texas. I was in the LSFL down there. We went to the LSFL championship, so we were division champs down there with the Rattlesnakes in Laredo.
Wow, that's
So-
a competitive ball. I'm familiar
Yeah.
with the Rattlesnakes, and
Yes,
that's some
yes.
very competitive. There's a lot of NFL guys that play in that league.
Yeah, we had a couple come out. We had
Tell us a
couple.
little bit about why you're excited about this team and your role.
Well, because number one, I'm delighted to be back in St. Louis, Missouri, where I started at with the great Mike Wyatt, the Show Me Believers in the 2005-2006 River
Was
City
I on that
Raiders.
team when you were coaching?
I think so.
Okay, that makes sense now.
I think so. But with Coach Hunter's trying to bring back here, man, he's trying to bring the arena game back to St. Louis. It's big here. I always love to coach in front of these fans here in St. Louis.
Well, St. Louis is known as a football mecca that a lot of people don't realize because we had the Big Red for so long.
Yeah.
But and then they left, and we picked up another little team out of L.A.
Yeah.
And they decided they'd go back to L.A.
The greatest show.
The greatest show on turf. But I mean that made me a big fan. That made me a super excited about football in the St. Louis area. And now, and with regard to our next best local team, Missouri Tigers do real well.
Yes.
And to have now, and recently, obviously, our exciting team that they're shut down for a year right now, but the Battlehawks.
Yeah.
And now you're talking indoor football that I believe is going to come in at a level we have not seen before, or at
Absolutely.
least get to the level. There has been a team here, the Rage, if I recall, did go to the championship a couple times.
Yes.
So a lot of the same pieces, a lot of the same talent. You're going to have a lot of the equivalent with regard to the players, former NFL guys. Talk about what you think is going to happen here.
Well, I think we're definitely bringing in some quality guys to play on this team, some NFL guys that, been in the league for a long time, guys that have been playing AFL arena football for a long time. So we're bringing a lot of experience in with this team, championship experience.
And talk about that with regard to some of the guys that are out here running around today. Have you seen some of the skills that these guys have that are necessary? Do you feel like the tools are there?
Yeah, there's a few. There's two linemen that I'm looking at right now. I'm down there scouting them right now, and I think they're going to be a part of this team. I was just talking to Coach Hunt about it, and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
And that's kind of cool because you've only got about 22, 25 spots.
Right, 25 spots.
25
right,
spots
yeah.
available on the roster. I know about 15 or so look like they might have already been spoken for.
Yes.
And so these guys are hustling out here and showing you what they got.
Right, we're looking for some guys to come on in and add on to the equation that we have. So.
And yet you got 10 spots available.
That's right.
And if you got a couple of here that can fill that,
Right.
you're looking at a few weeks. Going to be having camp open up.
Right, we'll be ready.
And we'll be ready. So talk a little bit about some of the other coaches you're working with here. Offensively, defensively, what do you expect?
Coach Finley, I coached Coach Finn back in the day with the River City Rage, Show Me Believers. Great defensive back, great defensive-minded young man. He's going to be an excellent equation to me and Jeff. We got another guy that's coming in, Mr. the backup quarterback from the Rams. He's going to be coming in, and he's
Absolutely, yeah. Jamie.
I'm looking for big things out of Jamie.
Yeah, and it's exciting to have such an experienced. I mean, when you're the backup to Kurt Warner,
Yes. Yeah.
as Jamie Martin was, I know they're working out the final details to get everything put in place for that, and Jamie
Right.
will be joining in here in a few weeks.
Right.
But wow, to have a quarterback coach / general manager like that, how
I like
exciting
it
is
a
that
lot.
for you?
It's very exciting. It's very exciting. I talked to Jamie a couple times on the phone, and I'm looking to do some great work for him. I'm excited about him.
And as a coordinator, how many years of experience do you think it has taken for you to get to the level you're at?
Well, it's taken some years. I had to coach all different types of positions in the arena game, O-line, D-line, linebacker, special teams. Now, I'm getting my shot along with Finney to do something for this team, along with Coach Hunt.
How many years have you coached?
I've been in the arena game for 9 years now.
Oh, so you started young too?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I don't want anybody to have to call out their age, but I don't see too many gray hairs there.
Now, tomorrow's the birthday, so.
Okay. And you're going to be re-celebrating your 25th birthday for the
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well said. I'm going to use that one myself. Well, Coach, we're excited. I mean, it's going to be an exciting team with a whole lot of talent. And just when you look at the overall effort that's been put together here, the quality, and just having a great chance to talk with you and the coaches, I'm excited.
I'm excited as well, and I appreciate you guys bringing me on the board, Cowboy, and I'm just delighted to be here with everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Edmonds, he's going to be making things exciting. Dennis, we appreciate your time here. And,
Appreciate you, Cowboy.
Maybe talking to you some more before the night's over.
Absolutely. Hey, can I give a shout out?
Go ahead, yeah.
I want to say congratulations to Kelby Edmonds and the Union Wildcats today. They did a fantastic job by knocking John Burroughs off for the district title. So my young man is going to be heading down to the Dome for the state title.
The state title,
Yeah.
That's Union, right?
That's Union, Missouri, Union High School.
Union High School
Yes.
beat John Burroughs. A lot of talents come out of.
Oh, yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott coming out of there. Yeah. So John Burroughs is nobody. I played in what they used to call the ABC League. We played against John Burroughs.
Yeah.
I went to Lutheran South, and always had a great, talented squad there. And when you told me you beat John Burroughs, I'm like, who was this that beat John Burroughs?
It's Union High School. Very proud of you.
That's exciting. Well, we appreciate you giving that shout out. Have those guys check out our live stream here, and we can even potentially give them a clip of you giving that shout out.
Absolutely.
We'll
I
put
will
that
do that, Cowboy. I appreciate you, my man.
It's awesome. It's on the Cardinal Cowboy on Facebook.
Okay.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Giddy up. If you want to send out another coach, he's got a minute. That'd be great. That'd be great. Well, Gary B., do you want to grab a seat with us while we fill in here for another minute or two? How exciting is this getting? I want to make sure. My agent had to talk to your agent, and we got everything squared away with regard to all of them.
We're going to give any shout-outs. Ken Burlmeyer, a good friend of yours, is watching, and he says that you're coming through loud and clear. And he says that the makeup artist did a great job.
Did they do it? The makeup
right,
they put
Ken?
on these days could last for weeks, they tell me. But what's funny, I won't name any names, because I have a hat on most of the time. We've got our show on ABC, the Cowboy Judge Show. And because I still do have, believe it or not, I still do have most of my hair. But it's your forehead that will shine.
Really?
If you don't have a hat on.
I never noticed
But
that.
I've been on the ABC show now. We've probably done, I don't know, close to 100 shows. And I've never put makeup on. Not on the show. Other things that I do in my private life, that's a different thing, though.
Well, what happens in your private life stays in your private life.
That's right. What happens in Fenton stays in Arnold, we used to say. But as a kid when I grew up, that's where we were at.
Getting back to Coach Edmonds there, I remember him from years ago, and what a great individual to have as a part of the squad for Coach Hunt. He brings a lot of excitement, and as you can tell, he's an exciting kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I was down there watching a little bit of the tryouts, and then they had he really pushes the guys, to give whatever they can. As you mentioned, the guys that are down there now, they're looking naturally to be a part of the team, make that 25-man roster. And they're really, really pushing. And, a lot of times when you try real hard, all of a sudden your leg slips, you can't get good footing, and all these little tiny things happen. And in our original conversation there, we talked about how you only get, a few seconds to really shine in front of one of the coaches. And when that happens, when your foot slips and you can't get, when you're doing your runs back and forth and you can't get good traction, and you just go, oh my God, I screwed up. But they take that under account. But Coach Edmonds is a great addition, as all the coaches are. But I remember Coach Edmonds from years ago too, with the Rage and all that.
Yeah, Believers, Rage, just a great coach to have part of the squad here. And he was talking a little bit about Coach Finley. And Coach Finley, not too long ago, was playing at this level and above and equal. And when you've got these kinds of guys with this kind of experience that played that well, I mean, how many guys never played and make it as coach? Not many, right? So you've got these guys that are coming in. They had the skills to play. Now they get to take that talent. It's not there's the textbook coaches who never actually played, and they happen periodically. But it's most exciting and most often the case. You have a guy who is going right from the league, and he says, "Hey, I'm done. It's time to retire, but I want to give back. I want to be part of this." And they turn it over to the coaching ranks.
Well, the main thing is that the coaches has been there. He's done that. I know how you feel, son. You know, when he talks to a player, I've been there. I feel your pain or I feel your excitement because I know. But and like you're saying, a textbook coach, and there's nothing wrong with those kind of coaches, but they really don't have that extra ingredient, if you want to call it that really helps these individuals.
Yeah, and it comes down to a matter, I think they have to prove themselves differently. If you come in with somebody who's actually played, how often does that happen? You see this happen in baseball a lot. As I pay attention to baseball a lot, there's a lot of guys. There was a coach in the minor league system for years, but some guy who just retired but played big league level for many years comes in and takes over the head coaching spot, jumping over.
I think we got another coach coming up here, Cowboys, so I'm going to bounce out of here for a second.
I appreciate
okay?
it. I saw him walk by. Let's get him on the mic here. Because we did space this out equal, you can take your mask down if you prefer. Not necessary. We did have a guest recently who did wear a mask on the show, but they work with health-related people, so that made sense too. Right. So joining us right here, Coach Finley, Findley. Yes. And just great to have you part of the organization here. Talk about your history, where you played, how you've coached recently, and what it's like to be coaching here.
Well, yeah, I grew up here in St. Louis, out Brentwood High School, where I went to. Started playing for the River City Rage, all right, in about 2002. And
go ahead and put your mic up real close so they can hear you.
Real close, gotcha. There we go. So I went from 02 season to 2007. It ended with the River City Rage, and in the middle was the Show Me Believers.
Well, that's some decent talent right there. You're talking about the guys that are playing there. If I can't get you, I'm going to make sure you're in our shot. Move your seat over just a little bit this way. There you go. And I'm going to move our football. We'll talk about what was your experience with the Believers, the Rage, and now obviously was that as a player or was that as a coach?
It was as a player. Played for at least 5 coaches in 6 years. Coach Wyatt being the most successful coach that we had here at that point. Yeah, he really came in. He was really serious about coaching, and he would get guys from all over the country and you know, Division I schools and all the way down. So, and a couple of guys played in the NFL before too. So, it was pretty competitive, and I had a pleasure playing for him.
Well, that's exciting. So now you're here coaching.
Yeah.
After many successful years playing, you look pretty young.
Yeah.
But you're going to bring some of the excitement, some real recent experience on the field. We've seen that transfer recently with guys who were young coaches in the NFL. Yeah. You think you can match some of what we've seen at those levels?
Hey, you know, I can only try. I mean, like I said, I'm still in pretty good shape, so I can get out there and demonstrate to the guys that we are signing and bring it in. So,
very exciting. Tell us why you think this squad is going to do well this year.
Well, it's going to do well because Coach, you know, he's adamant about getting a team here in St. Louis. And like I say, it's all about the players that you bring in. You know, I mean, we have these open tryouts, and then we sign guys that's played in other leagues around the country. So, you know, it's just the whole business aspect of it.
With regard to your history, where we're going, what we've got here, how much do you expect St. Louis to be behind you guys and supporting you?
Well, you know, we hope they get behind us. You know, it's high school and then straight professional. It's kind of, and they support a lot of college. It's just trying to get that middle ground, that minor league, getting behind the minor league teams here in town.
When you played, talk about some of the most exciting players that you had the chance to play with. How many? Did a few of those guys get to go to the league? And a few guys you know that made it?
You know, Scott Pingle comes to mind. Moses Regular, those guys had, you know, been on NFL rosters and things like that. And I got to practice against those guys every day, and that just made me so much better.
And to help our audience understand, too, because our audience ranges and it comes in and out as we continue along live stream here. And so I don't mind repeating a couple things. I've asked a couple other coaches. The answers are always different. But do you feel as though the difference between the guy who made it and the guy who got really close but didn't quite make it, is the talent difference the biggest difference? Is it the desire, a combination of things? The guy who's in front of you got a higher paycheck, so they got to keep him around longer, with the signing bonus, et cetera. Give me a little bit of your perspective on some of that.
It's kind of, like you say, it's kind of a little bit of everything, you know. So it's a numbers game. It's a business. You know, guys have agents, and it's just whoever you got there that's advocating for you helps a lot.
We had Kendall Morris on the show the other day. It's an example of a guy right on the edge, going up to the Chiefs, also with the Ravens. Now he's playing here with the Bandits. Was a number 2 or 3 fastest guy on the Chiefs, yet found himself not being a starter, not because the ability wasn't there. Maybe it was to fit into the scheme differently, somebody else. There's all kinds of variables about that. Some of these guys that are coming out here, you're looking at, your coach. You think some of these guys might have what it takes to get back into the league?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. We tell them we would definitely try to help them however we can to get them there. And it's first by being able to play. You know, just opportunities here. And all you got to do is go out there and play hard, and they can get a game film, as you say. There
you go. So, Coach Finley, anything you would like to predict? Just to say, no jinx right here. We don't want to jinx the squad. Obviously, some guys are very superstitious. I'm a baseball player by trade. Played some football, obviously, too.
Gotcha.
Tell me, what are your expectations?
I expect us to have a good showing, grow the crowd base, the fan base, get out there and engage with the community, and just start there, and then everything else will kind of play itself out.
Well, we're proud to have you. We're glad that you've got your experience you're bringing to the team here, and I'm excited to have you part of the team helping the coach and keep the squad on task.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Finley. And remind everybody what kind of coach you're going to be this year. You're going to be
I will be working with the secondary.
Secondary coach, that's right. Because you were a secondary player yourself.
I was cornerback, yeah.
Cornerback, that's right. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming out. Appreciate your time on the show.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, calm down, everybody. Calm down. Thank you, Coach. That was great. So, obviously, you can see the level that we've got here is going to be dynamite, and we're going to have all kinds of excitement coming to St. Louis. I think at this point, have we finished up our interviews with the coaches? I think we have. And so we're going to make our mobile move to give you guys just a little bit of the live stream, not to give away any secrets, not to give away any trade acknowledgments that we don't want to share, but just give you a glimpse of what's going on. So with that, I'm going to walk our technical assistant here through how we make this little migration. And so it's going to involve taking out the audio, taking out the video, and then changing to a different video source. So why don't we do one thing at a time? And what we can do, so go ahead and put the Bandits logo up. And with that, you guys can still hear me talking. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Gary B., how exciting are you to see what we've got going on here with this team? As I ask you without having a mic in your hand.
Very excited. It's, like I said, going down there, watching all the coaches put these players through the different trials that they have to go through the different races, different programs that they're putting them through to see their ability, their agility, their quickness, their speed. It's pretty exciting because, as we mentioned earlier, Cowboy, these guys are looking for the next step in their professional career. They're young guys. They're in their 20s. And naturally, that doesn't mean a lot. There's a quarterback on the NFL that's over 40 years old, I believe. So that the age doesn't mean a lot. But the point is their enthusiasm down there. And they're playing or they're trying out with other players that could be taking the position that they're trying for, but they're still yelling at each other, go, go, push harder, push harder. So that enthusiasm is very important as well, as we mentioned, that camaraderie. They're a team player, and they're not just individuals out there saying, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. They're rooting on guys that, again, may be taking their own position that they're trying for, but the coaches are looking at that. They're looking at a lot of different array of things. And right now they're going through a lot of different opportunities down there. And are we on live there? Okay. Oh no, we're not. Okay. All righty there. So we move back. Okay.
And we'll continue with our chat here. We have a camera coming up here in just a second. As we're switching. There is the opportunity. I'm a techie nerd. I'll share some of the techie nerdness that we're going through here. But and we've made multiple additions and changes to our technical hardware here. And as we've continued to upgrade, and it's always changing. But now we've got a pretty good operation for a live stream that can get out there to the world just about anywhere. This is my portable device. We were live streaming. I'll share with some people. Do we have the camera back on? And so if you can see, so you've added your input. So it should have come in as the camera down there. And now you got it, so you can see us now.
While you're getting that all together, I want to give a shout out to Mark Petschel. He's part of a company that I'm a part of, and Ken Bromeyer's a part of, True. And True has a lot of great products that we're going to be talking about over the years. But the point is, that is something that is, there's another team player. Mark Petschel puts together a great team with his company that he has right now that's worldwide. So he's very excited about possibly being a part of the St. Louis Bandits as we progress here. So welcome to St. Louis. He's from Florida, so he's enjoying all this nice rainy weather here. So welcome all. And Cowboy, I think you're about ready to walk.
We're ready to walk. We actually just
put the microphone up to your mouth, and so we can hear you.
We're actually going through that microphone now.
Oh, okay. So
you're holding a dummy mic.
All right.
At the moment, go ahead. Let's put that up here. And so now we do have our portable unit set. We do want to add one more microphone. I don't know. As a matter of fact, so what we're doing now, there's a mic built into the camera, and it does transfer the audio over HDMI to this cam link. It goes into USB. If I'm using a bunch of acronyms people don't understand, Google some of these and you can learn how to do a live stream. Live streaming has become the rage right now, and we're getting anywhere between 250 and 500,000 viewers per month with what we're doing here. So I would advocate you learn how to do some live streaming because it is the way to get your message out.
And I just spoke about Mark, and Mark really needs to get in touch with you to help really promote the next stage that True's part of here. And I think that's definitely something that can help both of you guys. But we'll talk about that in the future.
Absolutely.
Paid political announcement. There we go. All right, we see ourselves live.
And there we are. That's how I check the audio. Aiden can hear us, I think. Is it coming through there still?
Yeah, it's flat. All right.
Okay, so with that, we were going to plug in this mic, but we're just going to go with the mic on that, which works fine, I think, rather than have another mic. So the power, and then you're going to, essentially, you're going to go with this. And this has, I bought a new battery for this old camera. So this is it. We're live streaming. You want me to carry this? Or you hold the laptop? All right, everybody. We do need to bring our hotspot with us.
Can you carry anything? Nope.
Tell you what, Gary, why don't you hold that for a second?
Alrighty.
Point that at something important.
I can't tell when I'm pointing at. Oh, okay. All right, there's Cardinal Cowboy. All right, we're going to follow you, Cardinal. Go ahead and go. No, we're not going to follow you. Go. We are.
We're going to turn off some of our lights here.
Alrighty. And give everybody a view of the facility that we're at. As you can see here, they have a volleyball game going on right now. They had about 3 going on earlier.
All right, let's walk on down.
All right, I'm going to let you go in front of me so I can see where I'm pointing. There we go. So we got the volleyball game going on, and we're going to head all the way to the back. We're going to head way down there where coaches are, as well as the players that are trying out. Cardinal Cowboys, the leader of the pack.
We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Here, I'll give you the shot here.
Oh, there we go. All right, I got it now.
We're past the audience here, so we can take the mask down, I think. But we're going to be down here in just a moment where the actual tryouts are going on. And we did get the chance to talk to a couple of coaches saying, sounds like a couple of these guys are going to make the squad. And how exciting is that for a guy that, today he's working his day job, and then next week he's going to be part of a team a little bit. Right. What he does to potentially make it in the NFL. So we do have to watch, make sure our interwebs connection stays up as we walk through the big brick wall next to us. And we're hoping our signals get through here. It does look like we still got 4 ballers. But we'll proceed down here and see what we get. If we get some good action, some good shots, we'll continue. And if not,
we'll finish up our live stream.
I'm holding this camera as steady as I can get. I mean, with my 2 brand new knees here, Cowboy.
Doing great, man.
So we're walking upon the group along with the coaches. I don't want to get too close.
You want to take it over here? Thank you. All right, follow me, Aiden. So we'll give a couple shots of what we got going here live. You can see we are streaming. And a few guys over here, a number of guys over there, a couple guys on that side. But this is the Bandits tryout. And you can see that was a hell of a toss that just made there. Looked like that was a 50, 60 yard pass. And you can see just a little bit of the excitement here. So this is the facility they're using for, at least temporarily, for their practices and tryouts. And it looks like they got a heck of a list of players out here. They have narrowed it down. Bam. They have narrowed it down to the list of the guys you see here. And they are running some drills. This is a nice slant pass here. We'll have to figure out who that quarterback is because he gunned that one. We'll have to check out some of the talent. We've interviewed a couple of the guys, talked to a few of them. There's a few more we expect that are already on the roster that are going to be coming to St. Louis. Didn't have to try out at this particular tryout. This is an open tryout for guys who aren't already on the roster. Even so, a few of the guys on the roster have managed to come on out. Give me a title across there if you want. Just a generic one about head coach Jeff Hunt. So Gary B, pretty exciting. What do you think? Some talent out here.
Yeah, I think so. You got a lot of different position players here, from quarterbacks to centers to D-backs to linemen. So you got a lot of variety, and that's what the coach really wanted is that variety to see what holes he might have to fit in or fill in, and really now, as you know, with some of the talent that he's already told you that are basically signed up or close to being signed up, that's something that he can at least have a backup, because you just never know in this game. As you know, Cardinal Cowboy, you play ball, you could be in the game the next snap because of an injury or whatever it may come into play. So you need that depth, and that's what Coach Hunt really puts together.
And I would advocate, if you're going to be part of any squad, stick around. It was interesting when I was back playing with the Believers as a backup kicker. They had a great kicker in Danny O'Sullivan, if I recall. And he was on the team. He was a squad. He picked his backup. And of all the people who tried out, I walked on for. I hadn't kicked. I did not kick in college. A lot of people know because of the accident I was involved in a coma and recovering. It took a number of years to come through that. But I decided to walk on for the Believers, and was designated the backup kicker to Danny O'Sullivan. Danny could kick, man. It was interesting to see whether or not he could be. Did you know Danny at all?
I remember him.
Yeah,
I sure do.
And next thing I know, I continued to go to the practice. They're like, it's not normal for a secondary kicker to the backup kicker to continue to come out, unless there might be some need. But they said you don't have to worry about coming out. One of the coaches told me, he says, we'll call you if something happens. Then Danny got hurt, and I was disconnected enough. They ended up calling a flag football kicker to come in. I won't say his name, but nice guy. I ended up kicking flag against him many times, and outperformed him multiple times, but that was fun. But the point being, stay involved, get in the game, show up to practice. You never know when you might get the call, like you're saying.
Yeah, what is funny, they had a kicker, his name, I believe it was the Rage or maybe before the Rage. His name was Mike Matheny. Well, I had a chance to meet the real Mike Matheny that everybody knows, and at an event, and I asked him if he knew this Mike Matheny, and it's not a real common name, but he didn't know who he was. So I said, well, he was a pretty good kicker, and but he put it up in between the goalpost out there like you did.
I believe he came out for the Monsters when I came out.
The Monsters, okay.
And we know who got the job that year.
I think wasn't it the guy that runs around in the costume?
It was the Cardinal Cowboy. Yeah, he ended up winning the job for the Missouri Monsters a few years ago. And like I say, St. Louis has got a lot of talent, a lot of good players. It was interesting watching, a number of other kickers. I think it was pretty clear at the time when I kicked out, who was most accurate, and that's why I got the nod. But all it takes is a little injury. Nice, gotta catch that. But it takes an injury, and it doesn't have to be a big injury. It was Danny. They had broken a leg. I mean, that's a pretty severe injury. But it could be something as a pulled hammy, a pulled quad. And I remember playing with the Bulldogs, and we drove down to Oklahoma, and I said, yeah, I'll go, but I had a quad muscle torn, and it just had excruciating pain when I followed through. But I came out and did it anyway, and kicked a couple field goals, and we just crumbled to the ground. But I tell you, man, if there had been any other kicker that was available, they would have probably gotten the job. And that's just what's at stake. See, this kid right here has a pretty good gun. And he's got a couple good, nice passes he's made. So it's really interesting seeing these guys put it together.
Well, a quarterback in the NFL or outdoor football is a lot different than a quarterback in indoor football. What does that mean? Well, that means your drop is usually about 4 steps, 5 steps in the National Football League, whereas in indoor football league it's maybe no steps or maybe 1 step. It's get it from the center and pop it, let it go, or fake it and then hit it long or pitch it out or wherever it may be. So there's a lot of difference in the game. How many players are on the team, are on the field at the time, comes into play as well. So we'll see what this QB has set up. It looks like he's going to hand off. It's going to be a draw play.
Gary, I'm going to bring on our highly priced camera guy to handle the camera for a minute. And I'm going to go over and talk to Coach for a second to see what else he'd like us to cover. And we might wrap up here. We'll see what the coach would like for us. Check it out.
So as you can see, all the coaches are involved. There's Coach Hunt right in the middle of the huddle there, calling break, and calls the next play with a couple wide receivers, 2 on the far side, 1 on the near side. No running back, so definitely going to be a pass play. And there they go. He's going to throw it down the middle, and had it in his hand. But that's how it is. You end up, you're trying your best. Sometimes you try a little too hard, and you miss that easy pass. It was just laying out there. It was floating, and you got to concentrate on catching that ball, because when you're in actual play, what you end up doing is you're going to get popped pretty quick. So you got to concentrate catching that ball and then getting ready for a hit. So in that case, he needs to catch that ball and just concentrate on that right now, since there's nobody out there, no D-back that's going to try to tackle him.
Well, good stuff here. Let's move on back to our studio. They're going to send down another player for us to talk to, and we'll talk about it a little bit. And we can even do a reverse camera here. They call that the reverse cowboy, I think. Let's see if we go there we go, like that. Is that how that works? There we go. And I'm going to extend there we go.
Come up with everything, Cowboy. Look at that.
There we go. So now we can. Well, there went something. I'm not sure if that's. See, the strength and power of the Cowboy is unbeknownst to many. So, so that was a sleeve that came off, and there was another one that went over there. It's underneath your seat, I think, actually. Is that a?
Yep.
Pretty good eyes from my old age, but
There you go.
I might be able to piece it back together. Probably not.
No.
Looks like we're missing another one. Well, it'll work for
Make
at
sure
least
you
our.
talk to the Missouri Baptist University All-American,
Is that who's that?
Isaiah King.
I can't. Yeah, he. Okay. Have him come down and talk to me if he gets a chance.
That's gonna be the draw.
Where?
That's gonna be
Which one is it?
See it down the right.
All right, let's proceed back. Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Got over 3,000 yards.
Keep up. Got to keep him within range here. We got. So as we walk here, Coach, can you? I'm sorry, Gary. Did you coach before? Have you coached?
I coached baseball.
Okay, so you're a
I
coach.
played football, no coaching.
Okay, and I know you played football. Did you get a tryout with the
Well,
Cardinals back in the day?
To
Was
show
it?
my age, yes, I did.
Okay.
Now they had during the 1980 years, 78, they had a tryout camp because that's the year they had a strike. So they were over at Washington University. They had about 200 people out there. Larry Wilson came out and he was the coach. I was talking to everybody and I made the first cut. I had some speed, so because that was the first thing they did. They put everybody in their own pack. And okay, your quarterbacks, here's D-backs, here's wide receivers, and they ran everybody, and everybody had a number on their back as the normal tryouts go, and we end up having. I'm going to go to our left here. There we go. Everybody after the first tryout, they went ahead and cut a bunch of people on. You know, if you were a halfback, you had to run under a certain 40-yard dash under a certain number. If you didn't, you went home. So I felt pretty good. Well, out of those 200 teams, they kept one guy. This guy was from Rittner High School, and whom I happen to know. But anyway, he ended up going on the trip to Chicago for the exhibition game, but then they ended up cutting him. So that tells you how hard it is to play national in the NFL. It's not that easy. Depends who you know too. That kind of comes into play. But the thing is that there's a lot of individuals that are out there and they're trying their best in order to get on the club. And sometimes you get that break. And as we said earlier, Cowboy, you got to make that first impression really ingrained into the coach's mind, and they got to show them your athleticism and/or the camaraderie that you can bring to a team to bring everybody together.
Well, that's for sure, man. And just to even have the opportunity to be out there, Gary, that's pretty exciting. I know that wasn't more than a few years ago for you, but us athletes, man, we know what it takes, and it's fun to be part of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. All right, we're back to
our studio, back to headquarters. We're just going to finish up right here from our live streaming cam, but I am going to turn on the lights. So we have. Go ahead and pull it around over here. We'll put this light on. And I think I can still use this tripod as I pulled it out of its socket. No.
Isn't there a quarterback that went to Westminster?
I don't know. All right, everybody, we gotta get a little more angle up. There we go. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed our live stream tonight. We're going to finish up here at the Olympic Athletic and Events Club here in St. Charles, Missouri, just down from Main Street. Do a Google search. Casino's not far away. Buffalo Wild Wings, a number of other great establishments and restaurants are in the area. And we look forward to the excitement that we've got with having another powerful, awesome sports team here in St. Louis, the St. Louis Bandits indoor football team. Coach Jeff Hunt, the team, the squad, we appreciate all your support, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Stay tuned for more Cardinal Cowboy, and let us know if you've got anybody in the community that deserves the opportunity to have the spotlight put on them. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Giddy up.